Why Grandma's food tasted better. 20 tricks she never wrote down. Ever wonder why Grandma's scrambled eggs tasted like they came from a fancy restaurant, or how her pie crust shattered at the touch of a fork? She wasn't using better ingredients or expensive gadgets. She knew tricks that are disappearing faster than the generation that used them. Right now, there are women in their 80s and 90s taking these secrets to their graves because nobody thought to ask. Things like what she added to cake pans that made them release with a golden crust, or the free ingredient sitting in every refrigerator that kept burgers juicy on the grill. These weren't recipes you'd find in a cookbook. They were whispered over coffee, learned by watching, passed down through worn hands working at Formica counters. Most of this knowledge will be gone in 10 years. Before we lose it completely, we're counting down 20 tricks your grandmother knew by heart. If you enjoy preserving the wisdom of the America we grew up in, hit that subscribe button. Let's step back into Grandma's kitchen while we still can. Number 20. A spoonful of mayonnaise in scrambled eggs. This one sounds strange until you taste it. Your grandmother would crack 4 eggs into her old Pyrex bowl, add a tablespoon of Hellmann's mayonnaise, and whisk until pale yellow. The eggs came out creamy and restaurant quality, with none of that rubbery texture. The secret was simple. Mayonnaise is mostly oil and egg yolk, creating the perfect emulsion. A jar of mayonnaise cost about 39 cents in the early 1960s. She'd cook these eggs low and slow in her cast iron skillet, the one she got as a wedding present. The whole kitchen would smell like butter and Sunday morning. Today, we add milk or half and half, but it never quite captures that rich, velvety texture Grandma achieved with one simple spoonful. Number 19. Dusting cake pans with sugar instead of flour. When your grandmother baked for church socials, she had a trick that made her cakes look professionally done. Instead of dusting the greased pan with flour, she'd sprinkle white sugar over the butter. She'd grease her aluminum bundt pan with Crisco, pour in a 1/4 cup of sugar, and tilt until it coated every surface. During baking, that sugar would caramelize into a golden, slightly crispy crust that looked like something from a bakery window. The edges had this beautiful amber color and a sweet crunch. A 5-pound bag of sugar cost maybe 65 cents in 1965, and this trick used barely any. Now we use non-stick pans and cooking spray, but we've lost that signature caramelized crust. Number 18. Saving and using bacon grease. If there was one ingredient that defined Grandma's kitchen, it was bacon grease. She kept it in an old Maxwell House coffee can next to the stove, and it was liquid gold. Every Sunday after frying bacon, she'd carefully pour the hot grease through a strainer into that can. She'd use it to fry eggs, sauté green beans, macon, cornbread, or cook greens. That smoky, salty flavor transformed everything. A pound of bacon cost 79 cents in 1970. When she made green beans with a spoonful of bacon grease, kids actually ate their vegetables. Today, we use olive oil for everything, but that depth of flavor is gone. Bacon grease was the soul of home cooking in mid-century America. Number 17. A splash of vinegar to tenderize tough meat. The grocery budget didn't allow for expensive cuts of beef. Grandma would buy chuck roast or round steak from the A&P, cuts that could be tough as shoe leather. Her secret was white vinegar, the same bottle she used for cleaning windows. She'd pour about a cup of vinegar into a bowl with water, add the meat, and let it sit in the Frigidaire for a few hours. The acidity broke down those tough muscle fibers. A gallon of white vinegar cost maybe 49 cents in 1968. After marinating, she'd pat the meat dry and cook it. The whole house would fill with the smell of cooking meat and onions. Grandma could make a $2 piece of meat taste like a $10 one. Number 16. Pasta water to thicken spaghetti sauce. In the 1960s, spaghetti became an American staple, especially on Friday nights. Your grandmother discovered that starchy pasta water was kitchen magic. When she boiled a pound of Mueller's spaghetti, she'd scoop out a coffee cup full of that cloudy cooking water before draining. Then she'd stir it into her sauce, whether it was ragu doctored up with ground beef or her own tomato sauce. The starch acted like a natural thickener, making the sauce cling to every strand. A box of spaghetti cost 19 cents in 1965, and this trick made a 30-cent jar of sauce taste homemade. The whole family would sit around the Formica table while the Jackie Gleason Show played on the RCA. Number 15. ice cubes inside hamburger patties. Summer cookouts in the 1970s meant hamburgers on the Weber kettle your dad bought from Sears for $29.95. Your grandmother figured out how to keep burgers juicy, even when cooked well done. Before forming the patties from ground chuck, she'd press a small ice cube into the center, then mold the meat around it. The ice cube would slowly melt during grilling, releasing moisture from the inside out. Ground chuck was 89 cents a pound at Kroger. The smell of charcoal smoke would drift across the backyard while kids played kickball. Your grandmother would bring out a platter of perfectly browned, juicy burgers. Nobody knew her secret. Today's pre-formed patties and gas grills somehow don't produce the same results. Number 14. Pickle juice in potato salad. Every 4th of July picnic featured your grandmother's potato salad in her big Tupperware bowl. While other ladies used plain vinegar, Grandma had a secret: leftover juice from Clausen dill pickles. After mixing boiled potatoes with Miracle Whip, celery, and hard-boiled eggs, she'd add 3 or 4 tablespoons of that pickle juice. It gave the salad subtle tanginess and a hint of dill you couldn't quite identify. The pickle juice had garlic and spices already in it, doing double duty. A jar of pickles cost maybe 59 cents in 1972. The potato salad would sit overnight, and by the next day, all those flavors had blended perfectly. Modern potato salad just doesn't have that same punch. Number 13. A pinch of baking powder on chicken skin. Your grandmother wanted her roasted chicken to have golden, crackling skin, like they served at the diner downtown. Her trick was baking powder. She'd mix a teaspoon of Clabber Girl with salt, pepper, and paprika, then rub it over the chicken skin before roasting. The baking powder drew out moisture and changed the pH, making it crisp up beautifully. A can of baking powder cost about 29 cents in 1968 and lasted months. The whole house would fill with the smell of roasting chicken. She'd serve it on Sunday after church, carved at the table. The skin would shatter when you bit into it. Today's rotisserie chickens never taste quite as good. Number 12. Covering casseroles with aluminum foil. Casseroles were the backbone of 1960s cooking, from tuna noodle to green bean casserole. Your grandmother's always came out perfect because she covered them with Reynolds wrap for most of the baking time. She'd crimp the foil tightly around her Pyrex dish, trapping steam inside to keep everything moist. About 10 minutes before it was done, she'd remove the foil so the cheese could brown. A roll of foil cost maybe 49 cents. The casserole would come out bubbling hot, noodles tender, sauce thick, but not dried out. A can of Campbell's cream of mushroom, a bag of noodles, and leftover meat fed a family of 6 cheaply. The foil trick made all the difference. Number 11. A teaspoon of mustard in macaroni and cheese. Kraft macaroni and cheese came in that blue box for 19 cents, but your grandmother's homemade version was something else. Her secret was adding a teaspoon of French's yellow mustard to the cheese sauce. Not enough to taste like mustard, just enough to cut through the richness of the Velveeta or sharp cheddar. The mustard's acidity balanced the fat, making each bite more interesting. She'd make this in her old aluminum pot, stirring constantly. The kitchen would smell like melted cheese and butter. She'd pour it into a casserole dish, add breadcrumbs, and bake until golden. The mustard trick elevated it from simple to special, though nobody could identify the secret ingredient. Number 10. Soaking onions in ice water. Raw onions could ruin a potato salad with their harsh bite. Your grandmother would slice yellow onions and soak them in ice water for 15 minutes. The cold water drew out sulfur compounds that cause eye irritation and sharpness, leaving the onions crisp but mild. She'd drain them well and add them to whatever she was making. This was important for church potlucks, where you wanted everyone to enjoy your dish. A yellow onion cost maybe 10 cents in 1970. The bowl would sit on the counter while she worked on the rest of the meal. Today we have sweet Vidalia onions, but we've lost the knowledge of how to tame a regular onion. Number 9. Spreading mayonnaise on fish before grilling. Friday nights often meant fish, and your grandmother had figured out how to keep it from drying out. She'd take haddock, or cod fillets, and spread a thin layer of Hellmann's all over both sides. The mayonnaise created a moisture barrier and helped the fish brown beautifully without drying out. After cooking, the mayonnaise flavor disappeared completely, leaving just tender, flaky fish with a golden crust. Fish sticks cost about 59 cents at the Piggly Wiggly. The smell would mix with summer evening air, lightning bugs blinking in the backyard. She'd serve it with tartar sauce and frozen French fries. Today's non-stick pans don't solve both problems the way Grandma's mayonnaise did. Number 8. Adding grated zucchini to